Okay, lube tube. The 454's in, and what a pain in the ass. It's got a new intake. This intake's got about an hour runtime on it. Not with this motor, of course. But I installed a Elderbrock Pro Flow fuel injection for a guy, and he gave me this intake. I painted a tractor and got these valve covers. So I'm that far. The brakes are done, or brake lines are done. Brake master cylinder's done. Still manual drum brakes. I'm poor. But I've got the motor sitting in here with the headers. And if you've got a chance to do that, shoot yourself. That's a pain in the ass. I had to clearance my header around there. And you can spend $650 on a set. That will probably fit. But these are the cheaper hooker headers, and they're $300 something. I paid $50 off Facebook. Well, that looks worse, but there's plenty of clearance. But if you plan on doing it to a 73 Nova, which is what this is, 73, 74, then they will have these clamshells. And this motor will not begin to fit in there with the cheaper headers and them clamshells. So you have to go with, where am I at? The 72 to 68 style big block mounts. And they've got to be big block, because with a big block it actually offsets the motor further to the passenger side, higher on the driver's side, lower on the passenger side, than it does on any other. And something else, if you look at this core support, this was an inline 6 car. It's brand new core support, but the core support was ordered for the inline 6. Because at the time, my Uncle Ralph wanted to do a factory correct restoration. So if you look at the core support, it's closer to the left side, the driver's side. On a big block car, it's going to be closer to the right side. So that's one difference. 350s, I think 350s a center. So that's one difference. It doesn't affect me at all because I'm planning on running electric fans, so I don't have to worry about the fan shroud. And something else to worry about is your heater lines. Right now, I'll never be able to hook these heater lines up. Your big block will have heater lines coming out right there. Right here. And these are set up, well, they're not set up, but you can drill holes in this setup and flip your heater core and run it with no issue at all. And a lot of people do that. It's $56 on eBay for the whole new shroud. So that's the way I'm going. With these headers, I did have to beat it around this control arm. So that's one thing I did have to do to get it to fit, and I have pretty good room from the firewall to the HEI distributor, so I can now run an HEI, where if I kept the other motor mounts, I couldn't run HEI. It just wasn't enough room. So there's that. Now I do have the tires finally on. They're tight. I got plenty of room, but they're still tight. They are the Corvette wheels, which I was hoping to avoid. I was hoping for a 5.5 back spacing, so I can actually run a taller and wider tire. Right now I can't do that. But let me get the car up in the air. Okay. With this, the new motor mounts, you see how tight that collector is. It's gonna be a treat, but I can maneuver that to maybe get it. I don't think I'm not quite aligned, so I'll have a little bit more room. But something else you'll run into is with this motor mount, it's actually going to slide the motor forward. So now your cross member is going to be a little off. And if you can look, well, I don't have the cross member center right now, but it's a little further to the passenger side than it is the driver's side. And that's something else you're going to run into with the motor mounts. If you look at these, you can see how tall this is. And then you look at this one, and you can see it's shorter, but it's also bolted up higher. So it moves this motor closer to the passenger side, and this is factory. So that also moves your transmission cross member closer to the passenger side. Not a whole lot. And I can trim this out and make that work. That's not a big deal. The exhaust is tight. I can make it work. Not a big deal. And as far as that goes, I have not done too much with it. Like I said, new brake lines. Now this brake line, I bought Right Stuff. I've always bought inline tube and have great luck. But I was trying to save $10 in shipping. So I bought Right Stuff brake lines. And what a nightmare. You can see how horrible that fits. I have bent it every which way to avoid everything. You see, I made that bend. I forced that bend. You see, it's up high in the center. It's not supposed to be that. It's actually touching the bottom of this cross member on both sides. It's such a horrible fit. And if you look up there, it's touching my steering mechanism. It doesn't fit. The bend was wrong even going into the master cylinder, so I had to redo that. And it was horrible. And if you come back here, I haven't installed the fuel line or transmission lines, but you look at this. This is inline tube. Now this bolted up and lined up perfectly. And I didn't have to do nothing to it. Everything just lined up perfectly. And with my Chevelle, if you follow me, you know I got a 68 Chevelle. Same thing with that. That's all inline tube and everything lined up perfectly. Now this brake line, I did not replace. This car was inside on a rotisserie, so I know this brake line's good. The fuel line I'm going to replace. I'm going to order it all, so even this line here is coming out. This is all 5/16 fuel line. And if you follow Motor Trend at all, 5/16 is good for 700 horsepower. I plan on going with 3/8. I know I'll never reach 300 horsepower or 700 horsepower, but I'd rather have it. So the sending unit will be the only thing 5/16 in this car. Everything else will be ready in case one day I hit the lottery and go. Something else with this. If you look at the steering on a Nova and the 67, 68 Camaros, the steering is in the back of the subframe. So you will have to buy the oil pan to clear it. Your standard oil pan will hit. Ask me how I know. This is a Summit Racing brand. It did not have good reviews, but it was the cheapest, and I am on a budget. It was twisted a little bit to where I had to pry. I got one side bolt holes lined up perfectly. The other side I had to pry it a little bit to get this side of the bolt holes to line up. That was the only fitment issue I had. Everything else is okay. So it's worth it to me to buy the Summit pan. For such a little inconvenience as that, I had a tough time starting these two holes. So if I were to do it over again, I would probably drill these holes out just one size bigger. And the two for your timing cover, drill them out one size bigger, and you wouldn't have an issue besides for getting that little bit of a twist out. And as far as I know, that's going to be my only inconvenience. I know if you're running power brakes, you can't run the tall valve covers with your booster. You have to get a small booster. So that is something to consider. I am running manual brakes with drum brakes front and rear because I am poor. And, well, why not? I'm willing to take a risk. I've got the posi unit. I haven't installed it. I haven't bought my gears. I want 373s. You can see here how much room I have. I have a good bit. And again, they're... What size are they? Ah, over here. They're 28 by 9s. So, and I believe this is a 4.5 back spacing. If you look back here, how much room I got. Come on, focus. So a 5.5 would have really set me off. I could have ran the taller and the wider tire. But these wheels I got for free. The tires I got in a trade. So I'm going to live with it until, of course, I burn the back tires up. If this little 454 with a Summit cam will do it. But as far as updates, that's all I've got for now. I really haven't done any body work on this car. I've been fighting this 454, and it wouldn't be such a big deal, but I'm on such a budget that it's just taken me payday to payday to buy parts, trying to figure out how I can get it to fit. So like and subscribe, support my channel. I've got, I think, 24 of you guys. I'd like to get some more. My channel sucks, so leave some camera advice. Right now I'm doing it with the Galaxy S7. It's dilapidated, it's old, it's shaky, and I don't have a computer or Wi-Fi, so, you know, maybe give me a good program I could do my editing on. But like, subscribe, and leave comments. Let me know what you think. Help me improve. Thank you.